Woo, what's up, you guys? What's happening? Been a long time since I did a live stream and I didn't plan to do one. But since I have made it my business to not try to make a video after every little bit of breaking news in the fallout from the Diddy scandals that have been taking place since his arrest in September, I've made a point. I'm like, I'm not trying to keep up with everything. But when something of substance happens in the case or related to the case, I'm going to come out and I'm going to, weigh in on it, at least give my opinion and not be wishy washy because you might happen to like the person that's being accused. So in this case, the person that's being accused is Sean Carter, also known as Jay Z. And anybody who knows me knows that dating all the way back to maybe the 2000s, late 90s, he has been my favorite hip hop artist, my absolute favorite. So it would be a bit hypocritical of me to Sean talk about Sean Combs and not talk about Sean Carter. And I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible because I don't know Sean Carter. I know the artist that I've grown to love over all of these years. I know the persona or the reputation that he has cultivated since the early 2000s because we know that in the beginning there were some problems. He did do some things. He was accused of a stabbing. He was accused of being rough with a woman in the early 90s. So or in the late 90s, I'm sorry. So we know what we're working with is not a perfect person. This is a flawed individual, but he's still a person. So even though you think you know this individual through their art, through the way that they project themselves in public situations, you think you know this person, but you really don't. You know the representative, right? Uh, hey, Clarence. So yeah, Jay did some stuff. He's not an innocent person. But guess what? Guess what? I'm not either. And I don't know about you. Y'all might have lived some perfect, extremely godly lives. I have done my fair of BS. Or I'm sorry, my fair share of BS. And yet I sit in front of you an entirely different person than I was 30 years ago. And I can say in a lot of ways, Jay-Z is a changed man, family, wife, all of that changes you. The one thing that makes me feel like Jay-Z has changed an awful lot. Hey, Justin, good to see all my friends in the place. One of the things that makes me say Jay-Z has changed an awful lot is that elevator situation. So if you guys don't remember, a few years back, and I guess I should remember, I should pull it up so I can remember the date. It's been some years now, though. Um, yeah, I don't want to play the video. I don't have to see the video, but it was in 2014. So 10 years ago, Jay-Z and Solange had an infamous fight in an elevator. And the fight was one-sided because even though I think it probably would have been uh, acceptable if he pushed her even to get her off of him. He did nothing. He didn't put his hands on Solange. She beat his ass. And that is something that we kind of need to actually, that needs to be a whole different video. Is like, why is it okay? And I don't want any backlash for Solange either. This has been 10 years, right? But why is it socially okay for a woman to consistently be able to abuse a man, but not a man cannot, under any circumstance, defend himself against a woman? And I mean, defend himself. Don't just because she hit you, you don't punch her in the eye and beat her up and push a nice muff. The way my brothers used to do me, they would muff my face. You know, that should be okay because I got a son, and let me tell you, I think it would be hard pressed for me to sit back and allow a woman to abuse my son. That's a whole different story. We're supposed to be talking about Jay-Z. I'm going to talk about first and foremost the accusations. What accusations have been levied against him? We're going to hear from one of the most major trolls on the internet, and that is 50 Cent. And we're going to talk about Jay-Z's swift statement of denial of these charges against him, or of these claims against him, and the reputation of not only the attorney that is suing Jay-Z, Tony Busby, but also Jay-Z got an attorney that you don't want to mess with. And I have brought this attorney up on many a live stream because he is a celebrity attorney. He is the person that when your back is completely against the wall, especially if you are a hip-hop artist or an actor or an athlete, when your back is completely against the wall, you call Alex Spiro. And so Alex Spiro, Tony Busby are the attorneys that we're talking about. We don't have a name for the victim, and we probably won't get one. I don't want to say we won't, but we probably won't. Because she is stating that she would be in fear for her safety. And I think that that is a reasonable thing. She will be in fear of her safety. But this lady says that the situation that happened to her happened in the year 2000, and she was 13 years old. So that's 24 years ago, makes her 37-ish now. There's a lot about this case that just doesn't sit well with me, but I felt kind of a way about the Sean Combs case too, and look where we are with that. So let's get into the meat and the potatoes, the bare bones explanation of what's going on with Jay. And then I'm gonna pick up comments after we watch this really quick video from CNN, because I think that this attorney that the CNN analyst has on, I think he kind of gets it, and he's speaking all the things that I'm thinking. So let me make sure that I'm sharing audio this time, and let's see what they have to say over here.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men at a Video Music Awards after party in 2000. In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" He added, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Joining us now, Joey Jackson, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. There's a lot to unpack here. Joey, I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it. It's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
So based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning. Good to see you. I think that it certainly could be. Why do I say that? Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement. Yeah. He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because rape in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint, is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally. Now, with respect to evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right? In addition to other people.
Okay, so he said another celebrity. There was the lady said that Jay-Z was the first person who assaulted her. She said Sean Combs was there and he also assaulted her, and that there was a female celebrity there as well who has yet to be named. So, okay.
Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress. Number three, that she phone called her dad, who showed up, the 13-year-old, and now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law. But if true, it could rise to the level of criminality. And, you know, we'll see what happens, or if the DA looks and investigates.
So that's another thing. She should have contemporaneous witnesses. And by that, I mean, she says all of these things happen. Now, the people that she says abused her, of course, they're not going to stand up and be like, yeah, I was there, I did it, you know. But she said that she ran away from the party. She went to a gas station. That gas station attendant helped her. The gas station attendant would be able to remember, even 24 years later, a young girl who ran to them for help after leaving a Diddy party. So that's one witness. Then the second witness would be her father, because I don't know about you, but when I was 13, if I would have called my father from someplace crying and wailing because somebody had sexually assaulted me, yes, he's coming to pick me up, but he got a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions going to be asked about, number one, why did I go there? And what else happened and who was there? And if I sat down with my father and told him these things, there is no way on God's green earth that we would be just talking about this again 24 years later. I know every parent is not the same, but that is something that it just sticks in my mind, that she said she called her father for help. At the gas station attendant helped her call her father to come and get her. And you mean there were no questions? I don't understand, but I do understand that there are different ways of parenting, and maybe their way is completely different than mine.
What happens now?
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right? Before that, just briefly, there was a demand letter sent.
Before we get to the demand letter, let's also talk about the civil suit. Yep, civil suit. The only damages that you could get is monetary damages. If this happened 24 years ago, if my father picks me up from the gas station and we, for some reason, say we're not going to press criminal charges against Diddy and Jay-Z, because they're Diddy and Jay-Z, or whatever reason that you have for saying that I'm not going to press these charges against these men criminally, wouldn't you have gone for them civilly back then? I know the kid would not. Kid ain't thinking like that. But the father, this is why this shit is just not adding up to me.
And a demand letter is a letter being sent by a lawyer saying, hey, I don't have to sue you. We can sit, we can mediate it. If we reach an agreement, it never sees the light of day. Jay-Z saying, I don't care about your demand letter. I look at it as blackmail. You want to sue me, sue me. You want to look at it criminally, look at it criminally, but it'll go through the fact-finding process. If a trial is necessary to determine the facts, that's what will happen, but it'll be deemed civil. No indication at this point as to whether or not any criminal investigation will ensue as a result of this.
Yeah, and Jay-Z came back incredibly forcefully against these allegations and really singled out that attorney as well for being, I'm paraphrasing here, but greedy, saying he's out to get money, and calling that letter essentially blackmail.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Jessica, also suing the attorney, saying he's intimidating him, harassing him, etc. Now, demand letters are not new. What lawyers do is they send them out as a matter of protocol and practice so that you can expedite the process. At the same time, there's certain ethical standards that you have to use, and you have to have a good faith factual belief that this is true. Now, you can argue this complaint was filed in October, right? Could have mentioned Jay-Z then. You didn't. Why? It was amended now to include him. Are the factual assertions true? Are they fact or fiction? Is it a...
And that's another point. I'm trying to, the points that were big in my mind was also that this was an amended lawsuit. The lawsuit was brought in October. And here we are in December, and she's deciding that, yeah, we're going to name the other celebrity was Sean Carter. That's a pretty big person. I would have mentioned that, both of them, in my initial lawsuit. And why are we kind of spoon feeding the people involved here? So the first person, of course, was Diddy. Diddy was ripe for the picking when he started getting hit with these lawsuits. The second person now, 2 months later, is Sean Carter, Jay-Z. Why are we not just naming all the people who were involved? Because there was one other person, and that one other person was the woman in the room that this 13-year-old said was in the room. Name them all. Name all the celebrities that were there in your lawsuit. It really looks suspicious when you keep adding people one at a time, because it seems like the public, Jaguar Wright, a whole bunch of other people have said, hey, Jay-Z is you're going to find out Jay-Z is part of this. And now suddenly Jay-Z is part of this. So it makes me wonder which came first. Did Jay-Z really attack a 13-year-old in the year 2000? Or have enough people been on the internet hearing the names that people think should be next implicated and then saying, yeah, I implicate that person? Hey, Bougie Barbie. Glad to see your face in the place.
Money grab or not, all of that will be litigated in a court of law. But according to Jay-Z, this never happened, is pure fiction. It is a money grab, and he's fighting for his name, reputation, and certainly innocence and justice in his view, which is he didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, and you touched on point two that I wanted to ask you about, which was that this was an amended. This was an amendment to this already existing lawsuit. What are people to take away from that? The fact that they're coming back and adding to this now with this specific name?
Yeah, Jessica, so it depends. That's also common. You could amend lawsuits, right, as a matter of course, and you do, to include certain factual allegations. The interesting thing to me in terms of your question and the takeaway, if you had this information about Jay-Z, it happened allegedly in September of 2000. Why not include it in the original complaint? What happened between October and now that necessitated you putting in, and it's a question of credibility. Was he celebrity A, right, as was noted in the October complaint? Is this pure fiction? And what's interesting in the complaint is he really, that is the lawyer, tries to tie Jay-Z to Mr. Combs in so many ways, right? Birds of a feather is the argument that he's making. You can make that argument. You need the facts to sustain it.
That's another argument that, of course, our parents, especially if you are a person of a certain age. I'm 51. This is a saying that my mama used to say: lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. Mama used to say that all the time. Also, the whole birds of a feather stick together. But over the years, and I don't know where y'all from. I'm from Gary, Indiana. And I'm not by any means no gangster type, but I know gangster types. I know people who have killed people. I know people who have sexually assaulted people. I know people who have violated people domestically in domestic violence. I'm a victim of domestic violence. I know a lot of people. And if you go back and look at pictures of me at parties and all of these things, guess what? I'm gonna be in the picture with some killers. It's some people who didn't kill somebody. I'm gonna be in the picture with a sexual assaulter. I don't want to say the other word. I'm going to be in the picture with some very unscrupulous people by your standards. But once upon a time, they weren't that. They were just another person. Or even during my time of knowing these people, I may not have known what they were up to on the, on the other side. So just because you see me in a picture with somebody does not mean that I'm up to the same stuff that they're up to. Do I believe that there is a level of misogyny, a level of boys, kind of good old boys club in the hip hop community? Of course there is. Of course there is. Does that mean that everybody that has ever had any association with Diddy in the hip hop community is exactly as he is? No, I don't think so. And we also have Jay-Z's stance, and I really am going hard for Jay-Z, and I'm trying not to. I'm not trying to be so biased, so that y'all know that I really and truly, that is one of my favorite artists, and I like the turn that his life made, because it shows you it's not where you're from, it's where you at, right? But if he did this BS, then he could go sit next to his boy R. Kelly. And I was about to bring R. Kelly up because R. Kelly is from the Chicago area. I'm from the Chicago area. We would hear little things about R. Kelly way back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. We had already been hearing about R. Kelly, right? R. Kelly and Jay-Z go on to, because they were both at the top of their genres, hip hop and the R&B. They went together and made a CD or a double album called Best of Both Worlds, and it lit a fire in the hip hop and R&B communities. You got two of the top dogs working together, and they made some bangers. When I say the Best of Both Worlds double CD was probably one of my favorite collaborations like that. I mean, the best hip hop collaboration of all time is Mary J. Blige, Method Man, but I digress. This right here was pretty good. So then they go on tour, and Jay-Z gets a load of R. Kelly on tour, and suddenly the whole tour is kiboshed. They don't go on any further dates. They get into very public disagreements, and I'm like, if he was complicit in these kinds of acts with young children, young women, I ain't gonna call them women, young girls. If Jay-Z were complicit, it would have been easy to just continue on the tour because it would have been business as usual. Now, as far as his statement goes, I want to try to find a copy of the statement. This was kind of a last minute idea. I said, look, I've come on and I've talked about everybody else, so I need to talk about Jay-Z. I can't let this allegation, this accusation be out here and I don't say anything about it, because that would make me a hypocrite. And I'm not trying to I'm not also not trying to defend him the entire time either. I do understand and realize that this man is just a man, and he can be just as messed up as any other man. But a little part of me, I gotta go for him. Bougie said, I remember that. they were hush hush on why their tour ended. Their tour ended because it wasn't just Jay-Z. Other people on that tour were like, this dude is wilding, talking about R. Kelly, and they had a confrontation, and that was it. And you ain't never heard nothing about Best of Both Worlds ever again. Now, probably this is the first time we probably ever heard about this since then. They don't talk about it anymore. They don't talk about it anymore. I can't. I really want to find the entire. I think this is it. Is this it? Because Jay-Z had pretty much called this this lawsuit just a form of blackmail. Let's see how big I can make this. And okay, let's see. Make sure I don't hit end stream. Yesterday I tried to stream y'all for the people who are members of the channel. And I got caught up. I was trying to play the stuff that I'm going to be talking about during my 12 days of Christmas, those episodes. I was trying to, do a little watch along. Yeah, YouTube got on my case. All right. So Rock Nation, on the Rock Nation letterhead, I'm sorry, Jay-Z has put out a statement. His statement says, my lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a quote unquote lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crimes against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby, but I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine? Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. My heart and support goes out to the true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the projects of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theories. He put fake physics, but I think he meant fake psychics. Conspiracy theorists, fake psychics will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding the harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. Period. Now, if this turned out to be true, Jay-Z is lamenting the fact that now we got to explain this kind of crap to my daughter. if this turned out to be true, then the person that you are accused of having done this to would have been pretty much the same age as your daughter is now. So they're showing me crazy stuff in the notifications. Yeah, so she would be right around the same age. I mean, so right now is the time to have this conversation if this turned out to be true, because it would have meant nothing to you to do this to a 13-year-old girl back then. You know what I'm saying? But again, I can't say it's true, can't say it's untrue. I can only present the facts as we know them and give my opinions based on, number one, the facts as we know them. But I've already told y'all I've got an inherent bit of bias in me already. Bougie says, right, I heard people ask R. Kelly why it ended, but he never gave a straight answer. We always knew it was him. It was him. And sadly, that wasn't enough for many of us to just say, all right, forget you, R. Kelly. For a little while, I was actually, and again, I was actually mad at Jay-Z, because I'm like, why would you end, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't, it was more or less the area around the region around Chicago had started to accept who R. Kelly was. And the older we get, when you know better, you do better. The older you get, the more you realize that there was never nothing okay about that. I don't care who it is. I don't care if the girls was coming and asking for it. You as the adult have to be the intelligent one in the room, and he would not. Justice says cases like this are tough to beat. Been seeing a lot of them lately, and it doesn't end well. Well, it really won't end well if the press kind of gets hold of it and gloms onto it and makes it a big deal. Because you see, Garth Brooks, was that Garth Brooks? Maybe a couple months ago, similar accusations were levied against him. How much have we heard about the Garth Brooks situation since? Now, I don't know if there was some kind of settlement or what. I don't know, but we ain't heard about it because it's not as sexy. It's not as scandalous. It's not as salacious. What the Garth Brooks thing, they put it out there. Not enough people bit, so they stopped talking about it. We're going to continue to talk about this Diddy thing because that's a little sexier. People like this one. We're going to talk about this one more. And this is what we hear. Somebody even asked me if I was going to talk about the Abercrombie and Fitch guy. Number one, it is and it isn't important. It is very important, but because most of my conversation stuff that I am like really up to talk about is going on in Black culture, does not mean that these victims don't need advocates, but they've got advocates. You know what I'm saying? They got people that's talking about or raising awareness about what happened with Abercrombie and Fitch. But it goes to show you. I don't feel like, okay, my audience is not going to clamor to run to see what I'm talking about as far as the Abercrombie and Fitch Mike Jeffries guy. But on occasion, I'm gonna throw out a Diddy video because we'll just keep up with what's going on. That's and I think that I try to have a little integrity, but that's even the way I'm thinking about this shit. Okay, so let's talk about 50 Cent. Wait a minute. Oh, not Jay-Z and stuff. Let's talk about Beyonce's mama first. And it's not funny because Beyonce's mama, she goes super hard for not just her daughter, but her son-in-law is her son at this point. He's been married. He's been with her daughters since the year 2000, the year that this thing was supposed to have happened. And he's been married to her daughter since 2008 and all these kids. So yes, that is her son. All right. So Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles, reacts to son-in-law Jay-Z's shocking rape allegation on social media. The rapper was accused of assaulting a 13-year-old girl in 2000 in an amended civil suit filed in New York. Beyonce's mother, Tina Knowles, has seemingly reacted to the new rape allegation against her son-in-law. Shortly after the rapper was accused of raping a 13-year-old girl alongside Diddy in a civil lawsuit, a verified Instagram account for Knowles, 70 years old, liked an Instagram post from ABC7 Chicago that shared details of the allegations, which Carter has vehemently denied. So Knowles later wrote on an Instagram post that her account had been hacked, sharing the quote, "No weapon formed against my family shall prosper," in the post's caption. "I was hacked. As you all know, I do not play about my family," she wrote. "So if you see something uncharacteristic of me, just know that it's not me." Jay-Z was named as a defendant in the suit, which was originally filed against Just Combs in October, in an amended complaint filed on Sunday, December 8th. A woman who described or identified herself only as Jane Doe said Carter and Combs assaulted her at an after party for the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000, while a third unnamed female celebrity watched. And just the details surrounding that, it should really be easy to vet whether or not this person is telling the truth. And maybe that's what Tony Busby has done. Tony Busby, the attorney that Jay-Z had those very strong words for, and he's also representing what he said at one time, 120 other 120 other plaintiffs against Diddy. So he said out of thousands of potential victims, he vetted that list down to 120. And he only took the most credible 120 cases. But I'm saying, if you didn't do your due diligence, Tony, you are skating on thin ice. Because the attorney that Jay-Z has, Alex Spiro, we're going to talk about him in a second. He will eat your ass for lunch if you did not do your due diligence, which means, did you talk to this girl's father if that was a possibility, if the father is still around or still living? Did you talk to that father? Did you try to find the gas station attendant? Did you excuse me, did you even see if the gas station was there? Did you see whether or not Jay-Z attended the 2000 MTV Awards? And if he did, what his movements might have been later. If you didn't do all of those things, I promise you, Alex Spiro is going to do all of those things. And he's going to leave you on the hook for a lot of things, because he's going to figure, if he is able to find these things, then you should have been able to find these things. So if those things were not done, we might be looking at turnabout as fair play as far as civil suits go. Justin says also there was the Conor McGregor case. I forgot about that. Conor McGregor case that just happened also. I'm a Jay-Z fan. It is upsetting to me, all of this, to hear all of this. And I agree. If he did it, you're a piece of crap. I don't care how old your kids are. You know, don't try to use your family to prop yourself up if you did it. But I honestly can say that I don't like just coming out and indicting people in the court of public opinion without having any real proof of whether or not they did it. This takes me back to Jonathan Majors. For a long time, who was here long enough to know? Maybe Clarence. Clarence was here long enough to know. I had a thing for Jonathan Majors, and I still got a little thing for him. But I'm very happy that he has moved on with his life. Him and what's her name? Megan Good. Great girl you got there, Jonathan. But when the news came out, first I was like, oh, impossible. Didn't happen. Then all these other people started saying that he is a piece of crap. So I jumped on, oh, he's a team, a piece of crap. Jonathan Majors is a piece of crap. I jumped on Megan Majors. I jumped on that bandwagon right along with everybody else, with a lot of other people. I ain't gonna say everybody else. Then we started seeing tapes or the video and hearing some of the things that was coming out of the courtroom. And they say to Jonathan Majors, the girl, what forgot her name, Grace Jabari. Grace Jabari even said that she saw him texting with another woman. Wonder if it was Megan, not sure. She saw him texting with another woman and she snatched his phone. Where I'm from, if you snatch something out my hand that belongs to me, I'm gonna snatch it back, and I don't give a damn if you get hurt when I snatch it back. So she got hurt when he snatched the phone back. And then he tells the driver, stop the car. He gets out. She tries to get out with him. He puts her back in the car. I don't see anything wrong with what he did there. I really and truly do not. I couldn't be on that jury. Well, yes, I could. Because if I was on the jury, then he wouldn't have been found guilty of shit. Because I didn't see anything wrong with what he did. And then further, this man in some church shoes, he takes off running. He running away from her. And she's literally chasing him through the streets of New York. Getting caught on all of these different corners. Chasing this man all around. That bitch is in shape. I wish I was in half of the shape that she was in. So, okay, I said all of that. Yeah, Bougie said he wouldn't be guilty if I was on that jury. Not me either. He would not have been found guilty. Justice says he got a raw deal, in my opinion, and I think he did. I think he did. And because I was so quick to just say, you know what, I'm believing women, because we got into that mindset, believe women, and I still want to believe every woman, but you can't, because just like I look in the mirror every day and I could tell myself the same motherfucking lie every day, that don't make it the truth. So if you people will lie to themselves, they will lie to God. So what makes you think they won't lie to you? Especially if money is involved. Once you start putting money involved, people do the worst of the worst of the worst kinds of stuff. Truth be told, he wasn't guilty anyway. No, he wasn't guilty. He just got found guilty of what, harassment or something. Had to take these silly classes. But the end all be all is it derailed that man's career. Dealing with, you know, and this is a conversation that I have had with my son and I will continue to have. And when my grandson gets old enough, I'm gonna have this conversation with him too. That everything is roses and butterflies all the time in your relationship. But one day, mad day will come. And you don't know the person that you are dealing with until mad day comes. What they will do when they get angry tells you an awful lot about a person. And even if it starts small, it ain't gonna already it's not gonna come out the bag being something huge. It's gonna be something small. But that small thing is going to be exaggerated versus whatever you guys were discussing or arguing about. It's going to be far too big of a response, and that is your ticket out. That's your chance to clock out of that relationship and never go back. And take it from me, I'm a person who survived domestic violence, and it wasn't because uh one day he just decided. No, it was me ignoring the stuff that I was calling little things that I could have got out before I even got behind closed doors with this man. I could have gotten out, but I wasn't looking at everything. I was looking at everything through rose-colored glasses. Those red flags wasn't looking red; they was looking pink. No, they're red flags, and when you see them, you have to believe them. But that's Jonathan Majors. When I'm talking this situation with Jay-Z, I don't know what he could have done differently unless you knew that if I show up at this party, I know that Diddy is doing all kinds of heinous stuff after hours. And if I show up at this party in 20 years, somebody is going to say that I'm just as bad as him. If you knew that he was doing just horrible shit like that, as far as sexual assault, as far as beating up these women and all of that, if you knew that, then you kind of was playing, you was gambling with your reputation, with your brand anyway. But just because you gambled with your brand for the whole just being associated with this guy, to find yourself on a lawsuit with this guy is just absolutely incredible to me 24 years later. Um, where we at? Yep, he lost a lot. Jonathan Majors, yes. The escalation of the foolishness. Exactly. So happy days where everybody is yay kumbaya, and then one day this person goes from singing kumbaya to singing uh something, I can't even think of a horrible song, a much different song, then you need to get out. It ain't as And I know it's not as easy as it sounds, but you cannot wait for the next shoe to drop, because some of these people, the next shoe is, you guys hear about that lady in Illinois who catfished her boyfriend into believing that she, on a computer, that she was a drug dealer or gang leader or something, and she had her boyfriend kill the lady that he was cheating on her with. Yeah, not just the girl. Now, he didn't just kill that lady, he killed the entire family. That's the husband, the lady he was cheating with, the two children, and the dogs. Annihilated the entire family because this is the game she wanted to play on Mad Day. I'm telling you, Mad Day tells you so much about a person. So much. Um, I don't want to say discussing Trek. Claire says, I hope Jonathan Majors can get his career back. And if he does make it good wrong, he ain't got to worry about the law. Yep, we coming after him. you know, I don't know. I think they look pretty happy, but of course, again, outside looking in, they look happy together. And I hope that there is a movie, not the movie that I was waiting on, that was going to come out right as these allegations dropped. He had just filmed a movie, and they said that this right here was going to be his Oscar talk, that he would at least be nominated. And I can't remember the name of it. That movie is going to come out. But Lord have mercy, we had to, look at what we had to go through to get that movie. And they said that was the role that was going to have him in Oscar, at least in the conversation. And now he has filmed another movie. Somebody is taking a chance on him. I was kind of hoping that we would see him in Ryan Coogler's Sinners, but it's not that one. I forgot what the name of the movie is. Let me look and see what he's working on, because I hate just talking about it and not being able to. Jonathan Majors. Yeah, he's got a movie. So yeah, he recently proposed to his to Megan Good, and I honestly think that she'll be good for him. He is 30 something, 35. So he's 35 years old, but he seems to have an older soul. or at least that's the way he presents himself. He seems to have an older soul, and she's a little bit older. She's 9 years older, I think. So that might be what he needs. He might just need somebody older, a little bit more mature, who is able to understand what he's saying. Because even the silly stuff that he was saying, and you know, people call it silly. I got a friend who talks so poetically, like Jonathan Majors, saying, I need you to be my Coretta. This man one time told me, I mean, and I mean, this is way back. We're friends, but he was like, you are Coretta King. That's supposed to be the highest honor that a man can bestow upon me, was being called Coretta King. So I understand that flowery language and all of that, and I probably would have melted. You want me to be your Coretta? I would have melted. But other people look at it like, why would you look for this white woman to be your Coretta King? And anybody can embody the attributes in Coretta King, but you know, people, all they saw was the color, and all they saw was he want to control her. And I'm like, I think I thought it was cute. But anyway, I'm trying to, boy, him and Megan Good went running the other day. When I tell you, I don't know who took these pictures. Did they send people out here and say, got pictures while we go running? Because, oh my goodness, do you see this? Not just him. This woman is 40 plus. Look at how good she looks. They look good together, but he looks good without her too. So anyway, Bougie says, I'm fine if he and Megan don't work out. They never look like a fit for me anyway. I'm good as long as he is done with that other woman. I think they look okay together, Bougie. Not so much so that, you know, I would have said, you know who he should be with? He should be with Megan Good. I would have never picked her for him, but seeing them together and how she's kind of holding him down, I like that. Before I continue to lose the plot, let's talk about this 50 Cent. Because 50 Cent, you know, everything's a joke to this man. Ain't nothing real. It's nothing. It's all a cartoon. So 50 Cent asks, are we still having the Super Bowl after the allegations dropped against Jay-Z? Now, I didn't know that their beef has been simmering still. I knew that way back, that song How to Rob, that song was pointed at Jay-Z and a lot of other people in the industry, but Jay's definitely a target in that song. So I knew that there had to have been like some bad blood, but I didn't think this bad blood was ongoing, you know. But anyway, 50 Cent has finally weighed on the recent rape allegations against Jay-Z and Diddy, making his thoughts known. He better watch out, because just like all of these people was catching HE double hockey sticks, he could catch it too. Because he's a rapper turned business mogul. And anyway, he shared his reaction to the refiled lawsuit accusing both Jay-Z and Diddy of assaulting a 13-year-old girl in 2000. In a post viral, 50 Cent wrote, okay, I don't know what's going on, but are we still going to have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend. The lawsuit, which has rocked the entertainment world, claims that the two iconic figures were involved in the alleged assault, a charge they both strongly deny. Jay-Z quickly, keyword quickly dismissed the allegations, calling the insult calling the lawsuit an extortion attempt. Now, I'm not going to continue to read this because we did read his old statement. 50 post comes attention to both Jay-Z and Diddy. The ongoing feud between 50 and Jay-Z traces back to 1999 when 50 dropped his infamous track How to Rob, aimed at several hip-hop figures, including Jay-Z. In recent interviews, 50 has continued to troll Diddy, especially since the mogul's legal issues began in 2023. Over the summer, 50 Cent revealed that Diddy had never been friends, noting that he has never attended a Diddy-hosted party. He also hinted at a larger dynamic behind his exclusion from Jay-Z's 2022 Super Bowl halftime performance, claiming Jay-Z played a role in sidelining him. So and I don't know if it's, of course, again, I keep talking about how I got to protect Jay-Z. I got to stop being that way, because I'm going to say, I don't know if it's like, is this a real beef, or is this something that 50 Cent believes is a beef? But anyway, during a conversation with Cameron, 50 shared, the NFL has no issues with me. This is why I was saying I knew what old boy Jay-Z was doing with the Super Bowl. He was doing some wild-ish, Cam, because he was saying to M and them that the NFL had an issue with me. And I'm like, well, what's the issue? Why don't they have an issue when I'm becoming a partner with the actual teams, but they have an issue with me performing? It makes no sense. Where it just lost it. I hate when this happens. The new allegations against Jay-Z and Diddy added a new chapter to their long-standing rivalry with 50 Cent. Yeah, 50 is always taking shots. You would think he'd have been shot enough, but nope, he's going to take some more. While 50 Cent has largely stayed about his own legal troubles and collection lawsuit filed against him by his ex-friend Daphne Joy, he has been clear his public critiques of the two most. So there we have another, what's his name? 50 Cent addition to this. Now, I've got two more things, because I want to talk about Alex Spiro, and I want to talk a little bit more about Tony Busby, the attorneys that we got at play here. So this is Alex Spiro. Alex Spiro is known, he's a defense attorney, and he has been known as a celebrity attorney. He's been known as the hip-hop attorney. He's that guy. He studied biopsychology at Tufts University, graduating summa cum laude. While in college, he considered a career in psychiatry and worked as an adolescent and worked on an adolescent psychiatry unit at McLean Hospital. In 2008, Spiro received his JD, judicial degree, from Harvard Law School, and during the program, he did a fellowship at the Central Intelligence Agency. The reason why I had even dug into Alex Spiro is because I was talking about Alec Baldwin. And remember that case, the Rust case, where he was facing charges of manslaughter? Alex Spiro was a rock star in that case. And you see, he got dismissed, like damn near immediately dismissed. As soon as they got in court, Alex starts presenting the facts as he knows them. He brought out witnesses that were available to the prosecution that they didn't use. He did his due diligence, put it like that. And within that first 2 or 3 days, the case is dismissed with prejudice, meaning you cannot bring these charges against this man again. Alex Spiro gets pats on the back and everybody goes home happy. I talked about Alex Spiro again because we talked about him representing Jay-Z in the past for other things. He's represented who was I can't remember the athlete who had gotten let me look him up, because there was an athlete who had gotten in a little bit of trouble. He had gotten in a little bit of trouble, and Alex Spiro was the one who was there. I'm trying to see who were some of his. Let me see who are some of his. Here we are. Aaron Hernandez. He represented Aaron Hernandez in 2016. Now, I know you guys are thinking, but Aaron Hernandez went to prison in 2016. Spiro represented Aaron Hernandez in his double homicide trial and the appeal of his 2015 murder conviction, in which he was initially acquitted. So there was an initial acquittal, then he was found, he had that murder conviction reinstated. Then Thabo Cephalosha, that's who I couldn't remember, the NBA player. He represented Cephalosha because the New York City police, right? Yeah, it was in Manhattan. And the New York City police falsely arrested him, and they used excessive force against him. I believe was that him whose leg was broke? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. He also has, of course, we said Jay-Z and Rock Nation. Robert Kraft. He has represented Naomi Osaka. He has represented Elon Musk. He is, in matter of fact, he's Elon's guy too. Elon uses him a lot. Killer Mike, Meek Mill, Yo Gotti, Chance the Rapper, all of them. These are people that he is attached to. So when we say celebrity attorney, he is that guy. Adding to his new, and forgive this picture, this is not the person he's representing. This is just the fact that, in fact, this is the person they're bringing the suit against. Because Alex Spiro is also representing Megan Thee Stallion. Now you would say, okay, I get it, because Megan Thee Stallion is affiliated with Rock Nation, and maybe that attorney was recommended to her by Jay-Z and family. But yeah, Megan Thee Stallion is suing this young lady for, I believe, defamation, cyberbullying. So yes, he is still that guy. He continues to work with celebrities, and he is known for leaving no stone unturned. He is that guy. I got to look up Tony Busby, because I'm going to tell you off top, one of the things that I didn't like about Tony Busby is the way that he did the press conference for the 120 clients that he said he has, because he had, if you were hurt by Diddy or such and such, you got the 800 number up here. So you guys got a hotline that is doing nothing but taking calls about this. And to me, it seems like that hotline, just the simple fact that it exists, it invites people to make false accusations. But he says that he has vetted every single one of the cases that he has taken, and that these are the cases with the most merit. So do I believe him? Do I not believe him? I can't not believe him. I don't know the man, so there is a possibility that where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's also a possibility that this man sees a cash grab. And I don't know. But there has been some public back and forth between Busby. Oh, Bougie says, right, that rubbed me the wrong way too. Gave ambulance chaser vibes. Yep. That's yeah, it wasn't a good look. And I was trying to give him benefit of the doubt, and I'm still going to try to give him benefit of the doubt. Tony Busby made another statement to Fox News, local Fox affiliate. He said, Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He even filed his frivolous case under a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Now, the fact that he's saying, Oh, it didn't let you chat before Win Grace. That's amazing. So Mr. Carter, well, he says that his lawyer sent a demand letter. I mean, he sent a demand letter to Sean Carter's, Jay-Z's lawyer, and that the victim never demanded a penny from him. But if you're filing a civil lawsuit, I thought we just had come to the conclusion that the only thing that you can really get out of a civil lawsuit is monetary damages. Nothing else can come from it, right? So if you wanted to mediate, you're basically saying, if you don't want this to get public, because boy, that could be catastrophic for your image. If you don't want this to become public, you can sit down and talk to us. And wink, wink, talking to you means that I might have to hand you some money. And if I don't want to hand you no money because I know I didn't do anything, I'm not going to hand you no money. Okay, so he said his client only sought confidential mediation since he sent the letter on her behalf. I'm going to read this in his point of view. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. If this plaintiff, and I'm again, I don't know, I wasn't in the room, but if this plaintiff is not telling the truth, isn't it harassment and intimidation to call this man and send a demand letter saying that we want to sit down in mediation because you know that the reason why you want to sit down in mediation is so money can change hands? Isn't that bullying and intimidation too? If I'm innocent, I'm going to bully and intimidate you if you're trying to shake me down. If I'm innocent. If I'm guilty, I'm just going to have that seat and talk to you. Because there's no way, as being a billionaire married to another billionaire, there is no way that if it was any truth to these statements, there is no way that I don't pay you off and make you go bye-bye. There's no way. I'm telling you, I'm not even sitting in the same room with you. I feel like, man, I hope this person is ready for the can of worms that is being opened if it's not true. So she wanted confidential mediation, and he was being bullied. And he says now that his client is emboldened and that he's very proud of her resolve. We still can't get her to identify herself. And I don't know if that makes any difference. It would make a difference if we were still talking about a 13-year-old girl. But now we're talking about a 37-year-old woman. I feel like just like they made that other lady in the Diddy case say her name, I feel like it needs to be said. She don't have to say it to us, but he needs to know at least who he is fighting against, you know. Busby also said, despite a coordinated and aggressive effort that has included harassing my kids, contacting my clients and former clients to encourage them to sue me, contacting my colleagues or former employees, asking if I've abused them, showing up at my current employees' homes to harass them, filing frivolous cases against me and my law firm, defaming me with outrageous assertions to anyone who will listen, and having mysterious people follow me and my family, I'm still that guy, Busby said. I won't be bullied or intimidated. So, I mean, he is saying he ain't backing down. He truly believes that he has the goods on Jay-Z, and Jay-Z is like, see you in court. And Alex Spiro is like, when you gonna let me off the leash, boss? Because you see how quickly he gathered TMZ up when the not TMZ, Pierce Morgan up. He gathered Pierce Morgan really quickly. So that attorney is like, please let me off the leash, please. And he is also he's also just high powered, high priced. I think we talked about then, and I forgot how many we talked about when I was talking about what's that lady's name? Jaguar Wright. When I was talking about Jaguar Wright, we talked about how much it costs to even retain Alex Spiro. Alex Spiro's retainer is ridiculous. And let me see. I'm going to find it. Alex Spiro is known to charge clients $2,000 per hour. You hear me? I'm not paying you $2,000 an hour to lose. I'm just not. I'm not. So do your thing. There's a lot of people who that are questioning why is so many people afraid of Jay-Z. It's not being afraid of Jay-Z. It's being afraid of the legal power that Jay-Z commands. And this is a Root article from The Root. And this thing I share because I'm losing my voice. For starters, Rock Nation mogul, legally named Sean Carter, has a net worth of $2.5 billion, affording him enough financial flexibility to take on any legal battle. With that being said, Carter is never shy to take that legal action. Just a few months ago, as things intensified in the Combs case, singer Jaguar Wright appeared on Piers Morgan's Uncensored, making wild allegations against Carter and his wife, Beyonce Knowles Carter. She accused the couple of being nasty people and claimed she had 3 victims willing to testify against them, per the Hollywood Reporter. Almost immediately in response, Carter's attorney told TMZ he gave Morgan an ultimatum: remove the accusations or the court will order him to do so. Not only did Morgan comply, but he also apologized to the Carters. As for Jaguar, haven't heard much from her since. This was only one of many instances where people stood no match for Carter's legal bull. In another example, the rapper won a lawsuit filed against his clothing brand after arguing racial bias, per Rolling Stone. He also recently settled a 2-year battle over the alleged sale of Dame Dash's stake in 1996 album Reasonable Doubt, according to Reuters. Before that, Carter also won a copyright infringement lawsuit claiming he sampled an Egyptian composer for Big Pimpin' without permission. Aside from his reputation in the courtroom, Carter also hones power and status from how well connected he is. Through his organizations, Team Rock and the Sean Carter Foundation, his ties to other bigwigs like Michael Rubin, his journey into Major League Sports management, and consistent use of his resources to stay active in the community and local government initiatives, his network reaches way beyond the music studio. Don't even get started of his partners through Rock Nation alone. Jay-Z ain't just another rich rapper. He's powerful. There's no typos in this, and it's making stutter. God, and now, okay, wait a minute. I've lost it. He is powerful, which is why for some, the latest lawsuit against him seems like a long shot. Houston attorney Tony Busby refiled a lawsuit on behalf of a plaintiff who alleged she was sexually assaulted by Combs and Carter at just 13 years old. The original suit included an unnamed celebrity, and Busby's refiling identified that celebrity as Carter, who has since denied the allegations and reassured the attorney he was nothing to play with. Yeah, the one thing that I liked that said, I look forward to showing you just how different I am. You better show something, buddy, because right now they're trying to crucify you in the court of public opinion because people will reach out to you for Jay-Z. Hey, Tasha, because they know I, they know I like Jay-Z. Hey, Tasha, what you got to say about your boy Jay? Blah, blah, blah. He ain't did nothing yet. Until you show some proof, there's nothing. I can say you did some. I can say you did something to me. You just left my house. You took my box. I had a shoebox full of money sitting right there. And you, whoever feels indicted right now, you just came in here and took it. I said you did it. That means it's true, right? So now you owe me some money. Nah, I don't know how much money was in the box. I don't know how much money was in that shoebox. Tony Busby, outside of that, I'm trying to remember what his big cases were, if he's had any. I know he's had, no, the big case he had was Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, disgraced quarterback, now is over there at the Browns doing absolutely nothing. He's not doing anything that I couldn't do with the Browns. He was pretty much run out of Houston by Tony Busby and all of those massage artists that, and I'm not laughing at the fact that they were massage artists. I'm laughing at the fact that he found so many of them to say that Deshaun Watson had been inappropriate with them. So he says he's collected $10 billion. I'm trying to find his, okay, here we are. He is educated from the University of Houston, went to Texas A&M as well. Went to the where is this? He went to the Marines. Appeared on the cover of New York Times Magazine in 2010 in his role in the litigation against BP following the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. So he was part of that. Brought on to lead the legal team representing Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton at that impeachment hearing in 2023. Y'all remember when he got impeached? Now look, Ken Paxton is a piece of crap, but even a piece of crap deserves a good representation. So more power to him. Lead attorney trial for Rebecca Grossman, who was convicted of second-degree murder in Los Angeles in 2024. After a 2020 hit and run that killed two brothers, he argued that former professional baseball pitcher Scott Erickson had struck the children first while racing Grossman. I remember that case too. And then in 2024, a woman claiming to be a former client of Busby filed a lawsuit against him, alleging he assaulted her while representing her in a divorce case. The woman claims to have both medical and dental records to prove her injuries. Wouldn't that be a hell of a turn of events? Yeah, Justin, he had something to do with the oil rig lawsuits. Yes. So yeah. Busby hosted a fundraiser at his River Oaks mansion for then presidential candidate Donald Trump. Later on, following the release of Access Hollywood tape, Busby disavowed Trump and stated his intention to write in a veteran Dan Moran for president. Subsequently, Busby gave $500,000 to Trump's inauguration committee. That's neither here nor there. It's just so funny how he tried to run back, and then he was like, oh, wait, he ain't gonna get no trouble for this. Let me run back towards him. Oh, gosh. Well, we're going to hope that all of the legal might that Tony Busby has is enough to prove the allegations that he's made. And if not, then I'm pretty sure that Alex Spiro has got the gusto. He's got what it takes. He was made for this shit. And he cannot wait to eat you alive. If you can be eaten alive, he can't wait to do it. You see the way that he did in that Alec Baldwin case. He did a master class in how to dismantle the prosecution's arguments. And I'm going to sit back and just wait to see what happens. I'm not going to try to pass any more judgment, but I didn't want to be hypocritical. I wanted to at least talk about this, and I didn't want to film a video because if you guys don't know, I'm doing 12 days of Christmas where for 12 consecutive days, there will be a video of me talking about a sitcom, Christmas episode of a popular sitcom, one that I kind of like. And I got 12 different sitcom episodes. I got a lot of talking that I've done already and a lot more to do. And I'm trying to rest these vocal cords, baby. So beginning on December 12th, going through Christmas Eve, you're going to get something from me every day. And don't forget, we still got to talk about the entire season of Star Trek Lower Decks, pretty much. I'm going to probably do a mid-season for Creature Commandos. We are going to do maybe episode by episode of Marvel's What If, which I ain't doing episode by episode. I forgot. That's going to run right into my the stuff I've already got going. What If begins on December 22nd. No, who knows? I might try to still do episode by episode because there is not as much overlap as I'm thinking in my mind. And I still, of course, the 6888, which is coming out on December 20th. I'm going to be doing a review about that. And there's another movie, and I don't know when that movie comes out, called oh gosh, it's on Netflix. Carry On? Is that what it's called? It's something like that I think is going to be one that I want to talk about anyway. And I watched Hot Frosty. I didn't film a video because I liked that movie more than I should have. Even though it was a stupid movie, I liked it more than I should have. But I still think I should have a conversation with you guys, a little short one about Hot Frosty. And other than that, so I used a lot of voice to tell y'all I'm trying to save my voice. Oh, yes, a lot of voice. I used a lot of voice to tell y'all that I didn't want to talk too much. So there's that. I am so glad that we have all had an opportunity to hang out together because I sure did not plan to do a live stream until 2025. That's just where I'm at. I mean, members only, you guys will see me. But for everybody else, I just wanted to just lay low for a little while because it's usually just my members that's in the audience anyway. So I'm like, shoot, I could talk to y'all without talking to everybody else, But I wanted to make sure that I said this in a public forum because I did talk about ditties in a public forum. I'm glad that y'all enjoyed it. Justin, Bougie, thank you, Win Grace, for hanging out. Clarence, thanks for being here. I don't think there was anybody else that commented, right? I think I hit everybody. I think I hit you all. So, with all that being said, I've got nothing else. If anything big happens, and I mean big, it has to really be big. I'll be back to talk about Jay-Z and and Diddy. If nothing big happens, then I will see you in the next video. Peace.